Welcome back to our channel, everyone. I have to tell you, my heart has been pounding right out of my chest watching the latest developments unfold in Port Charles, and I just cannot keep all these thoughts to myself anymore. There is something brewing beneath the surface, a mystery so thick and tangled that it feels like we are watching a classic potboiler slowly come to a rolling boil. It all centers around Hudson Parker, a man who has suddenly become the most fascinating puzzle in town. I have been watching him closely, and let me tell you, this man is on a mission that is going to shake the very foundations of the families we have known and loved for years. He is relentlessly digging into a secret connected to Delilah Wilson, and the way he is going about it is absolutely mesmerizing. He is not just asking questions. He is fishing for information with the skill of a master angler, dropping little hints and waiting to see who bites. It is thrilling, but it also gives me a deep sense of dread because we all know that in this town, digging up the past usually means unearthing a whole lot of heartache. Watching Hudson maneuver through his investigation feels like watching a high-wire act without a safety net. He is so determined to find out the truth about Delilah Wilson's baby, and you can see the intense focus in his eyes every single time he appears on screen. I find myself leaning closer to the television, trying to piece together the clues right alongside him. He is carefully navigating the waters, trying to pry open a door that someone has desperately tried to keep locked shut. And the more he fishes for these delicate details, the closer he gets to the shocking truth about Phoebe Chase. Now, whenever the name Chase is involved, you just know the stakes are incredibly high. The emotional weight of a hidden child, of a secret identity, is something that always tugs at my heartstrings. We have seen so many families torn apart by lies of omission, and I can already feel the storm clouds gathering over this one. Hudson is inching closer and closer to a revelation that is going to change everything, and I am sitting here on the edge of my seat, completely captivated by his relentless pursuit. But of course, you cannot have a massive, earth-shattering secret in Port Charles without Ava Jerome being right in the thick of it. Oh, Ava, bless her heart. She is a woman who simply cannot escape the shadows, no matter how hard she tries to walk in the light. When I realized that Hudson's investigation was putting him on a direct collision course with Ava, I actually gasped out loud. Ava is currently sitting on a powder keg, and Hudson is walking around with a lit match. If Ava even gets a whiff that Hudson is poking around and getting close to the truth about Phoebe, we all know she is going to absolutely explode. I have been watching Ava's subtle reactions, the way she stiffens when certain topics are brought up, and you can just see the panic bubbling just beneath her perfectly polished surface. She is terrified, and frankly, she has every reason to be. Ava knows that if Hudson uncovers the secret about Phoebe, her entire world could come crashing down, and she will stop at nothing to prevent that from happening. The psychological warfare that is currently brewing between Ava and Hudson is nothing short of spectacular television. Ava is not a woman who takes a threat lying down. She goes on the offensive. I can already see the wheels turning in her head, plotting and scheming ways to throw Hudson off the scent. But this time, it feels different. This is not just another one of Ava's calculated business moves or a simple power play. This is a deep, maternal panic, a raw and primal fear that is driving her to the brink of an absolute breakdown. The story that Ava is currently battling is proving to be the very thing that might finally break her. She is exploding with this new obsession, consumed by the need to keep Hudson away from the truth. I find myself feeling a strange mix of pity and fear for her. We all know what Ava is capable of when she is backed into a corner. And right now, she is a desperate woman fighting for survival. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife, and I am just waiting for the moment when these two unstoppable forces finally clash. What makes this entire situation so incredibly compelling is that Hudson is not just an outside observer anymore. He is becoming deeply entangled in the very secrets he is trying to expose. The more he learns, the more he realizes that this is not just about Delilah or Ava, it is about him too. I watched with bated breath as his investigation led him straight to the Port Charles Police Department. The PCPD has always been the epicenter of so many shocking reveals, and this time was no exception. The atmosphere was so tense, so heavy with unspoken truths as Hudson dug through the information. I could feel my own pulse racing as he finally uncovered a hidden secret about Delilah right there in the police files. It was one of those classic soap opera moments where the music swells, the camera zooms in, and you just know that nothing will ever be the same again. Hudson found the missing puzzle piece, and the look of pure, unadulterated shock on his face was enough to give me goosebumps. That moment of discovery at the PCPD was an absolute game changer. Hudson did not just find a minor discrepancy. He uncovered the true identity of Phoebe's father. When I realized what he was looking at, my jaw practically hit the floor. The identity of the father is a bombshell of epic proportions, a truth so wild and unexpected that it completely recontextualizes everything we thought we knew about Delilah, Ava, and the entire Chase family connection. You could see the color drain from Hudson's face as the reality of the situation washed over him. It is one thing to investigate a mystery, but it is an entirely different beast when the answer turns out to be a nightmare. I felt so much sympathy for him in that moment. He went looking for the truth, and he found a monster of a secret that he now has to carry. The emotional burden of knowing who Phoebe's real father is must be crushing, and watching Hudson process that shock was truly a masterclass in emotional storytelling. But the twists do not stop there, and this is where the story goes from a thrilling mystery to a deeply terrifying psychological thriller. The revelation of Phoebe's father did not just answer Hudson's questions, it awakened a dormant nightmare. Hudson is now paralyzed by the realization that this secret is connected to a dangerous enemy from his own past. I could see the sheer terror in his eyes as it dawned on him that his enemy is going to return. This is not just about protecting a child's identity anymore. This is about life and death. The crazy, chaotic turn this story has taken has me completely hooked. Hudson is now fighting a two-front war. On one side, he has Ava Jerome, a woman desperate enough to do anything to silence him. On the other side, he has a looming threat from his past, an enemy whose return could destroy everything and everyone in its path. Hudson is trapped in a web of his own making, and the fear that is radiating from him is palpable. I cannot help but think about how this is going to ripple through the entire town of Port Charles. A secret of this magnitude never stays buried for long, and when it finally blows, the collateral damage is going to be immense. I worry so much for the innocent people caught in the crossfire. Think about poor Delilah, whose deeply guarded secret is now out in the open, at least to Hudson. Think about the Chase family, who are completely unaware of the storm that is heading straight for their front door. And then there is Hudson, a man who thought he was just solving a puzzle, only to find out he has triggered a ticking time bomb. I feel like I am pacing the floor of my own living room just thinking about what he is going to do next. Does he confront Ava? Does he go to the police? Or does he try to run from the enemy that is surely hunting him down as we speak? The suspense is almost too much to bear, but it is exactly why I have loved this show for so many years. The dynamic between Hudson and Ava right now is the absolute highlight of my afternoons. It is a brilliant game of cat and mouse, but the terrifying part is that we do not know who is the cat and who is the mouse. Ava thinks she is in control, orchestrating her defenses and preparing to strike if Hudson gets too close. But Hudson holds the ultimate trump card now. He knows the truth. He knows about the father. He knows about the returning enemy. Watching these two characters circle each other, completely aware of the danger but unable to back down, is riveting. I find myself talking to the screen, warning Hudson to be careful, telling Ava to just walk away before she gets hurt. But of course, in true Port Charles fashion, neither of them is going to back down. They are on a collision course, and the crash is going to be spectacular. The writers have done such a phenomenal job of building this tension, layering the emotional stakes so deeply that you cannot help but care about every single character involved. As I sit back and reflect on everything that has happened, I am just overwhelmed by the rich, emotional tapestry of this storyline. It has everything we love about traditional daytime drama. Hidden children, desperate mothers, shocking paternity reveals, and the looming threat of a dangerous villain returning to wreak havoc. It speaks to those universal themes of family, protection, and the lengths we will go to in order to keep our loved ones safe. Ava's fierce, albeit misguided, maternal protection is something any mother can understand, even if we do not agree with her methods. Hudson's quest for truth, turning into a desperate fight for survival, is a classic hero's journey that has taken a very dark turn. I feel so deeply connected to their struggles, their fears, and their frantic attempts to control a situation that has completely spiraled out of their hands. It is storytelling at its absolute finest, and it makes me so grateful to be a part of this viewing family. I am anxiously counting down the hours until the next episode because I just know that the explosion is coming. The fuse has been lit, the secrets are bubbling to the surface, and it is only a matter of time before Hudson's enemy makes their grand, terrifying entrance. How will Ava react when she realizes Hudson knows everything? What will Hudson do to protect himself from the ghosts of his past? And how will the truth about Phoebe's father finally come to light?